Hello, everybody. This is Ted Gothier with Michigan Online CNC, and tonight we have a special guest from Jacksonville, Florida, and his name is Talley Boatwright. And I'd like to say hi to Talley. Thanks a lot for coming on, and I'll let Talley explain to you a little bit about. Well, I'm going to go ahead and ask him. Talley, why don't you go ahead and explain to us what you do? I know you used to have a sign company and involved in laser, embroidery, plotters, CNC stuff. So why don't you give us a little bit of background about yourself?
Correct. Good evening. My name is Talley, and I'm owner of Frosted Images. I found Frosted Images in 2006. As started out as actually a hobby, and getting into it, I first started doing sandblasting. That's where the name came from. Actually, Frosted Images. I started out doing wine glasses. From there, we started broadening it out. I started doing a lot of freehand drawing and doing custom items such as tabletops and shower doors and windows and things as such. Then I kind of got tired of freehanding a lot of repetitive work that I was getting requested for. So I decided to get into doing it by computer. So we ventured out and bought a plotter and started learning some of the software. And one of the softwares that I learned was actually Adobe Illustrator, which was a big task to try to take on at that time, not knowing anything about doing graphics on the computer. Finally, we got the hang of it and started working with it, and from there we switched over, and then we decided to switch to Corel Draw, which was so much easier. Since we had the plotter and cutting out most of our templates, we decided to do some decals. Started getting into decals. A friend of mine had a drag shop, and we used to race drag bikes and build them. And he asked me, could I put decals on the bike? And I was like, sure. All we need is some vinyl. From there, we started doing decals, and we grew from there. Then we started doing T-shirts, and after that, we just started expanding. We got into purchasing a silk screen machine and embroidery machine, and from there, we opened a shop out in Mayport. And it was catering to the military base, who's doing a lot of personalized items, such as the Select B boxes and things for the ships, plaques and awards. And from there, Frosted Images started from 2006, and we kept it going all the way up to 2013 until it started getting a little slow. It was hard to find people to really work with you because anyone know when you start getting into this type of work, it's required to love what you do and always studying. You have to stay on top of your game.
Let me stop you there for just a moment. Let me pass the presenter over to you because we're recording this, and the only thing that the people are seeing right now is the Vectric blank screen.
Okay.
So if I turn it over, then you can be showing pictures while you're talking because they won't see you on the recording. All they hear is the voice. So let me go ahead and turn it over to you. Whoops. Okay, there you go. So you'll have to accept, and then we'll have your screen. There you go. And guys, if it's not large, go ahead and enlarge your screen to full size, and then you'll be able to see things.
So this is actually our Frosted Images fan page on Facebook. I haven't updated it lately, but normally I usually put a lot of my projects on here. Some of the things on here that we actually do. This is the main picture of my CNC that I just purchased back in October. But these are some of the items that we have catered to. a lot of bike clubs, such as the banners. I made custom tags. We do the storefronts. A lot of yard signs, windscreens for motorcycles. This is my wife and my sister. And we have actually turned Frosted Dimensions into a family affair. So everybody kind of get involved when we start doing things.
Are you still doing these items now?
Yes, that's actually still doing. Even though I work a full-time job as a crane operator, we still try to squeeze in some time over the weekend and in the evening to do some of the things. This time we do mostly our stuff in-house. So we actually do it at the house in our workshop that we built. And from there, I have expanded and decided to go into CNC. My first CNC was a kit that I built, and then realized that the performance wasn't quite up to par to do kind of industrial work. So we decided we needed to upgrade. But pretty much I would take on any type of request. Anyone that wants to have any ideas or any prototyping and anything, I can pretty much take on. But we spent a lot of time in the shop just doing different stuff. We even did headstones. That was one of the big requests that I used to get all the time.
Were you sandblasting those, or were you lasering?
Yes, I was doing both. Actually, this one here, let me see. If you look at this one here, this was actually sandblast. All that was sandblast, and then it was painted. And then this inlay right here, it was sandblast, and then that was the oval was set inside of it after it was lasered. So that's an individual piece. So it was done both ways. And then I may have one on here that was completely lasered also. But I usually do it. It depends on the request of the individual.
You have some photos of some of the things that you've done with the CNC?
Yes. Let's see. Let's go back to, this is some of my sandblasting here. If you'd like to look at that. That was actually a bathroom door for a pool house. Let's see. Let's go back. So that's what it looked like when it's masked up and prepared for sandblasting. And that was actually sandblasted. And let me see if we go back. That was another mirror that I did. Let me see if I can go back to some of the stuff that I did with the CNC on here. Let's go back in the photos. Okay, all this was done with the CNC. These two here. Thank you, John. These was done with the CNC. This was actually done with my small CNC, the one that I built.
Was that made out of wood there?
Yep, just a regular piece of pine, just a piece of scrap. Yep. Let's see. Let me go back. This one here.
I know you did a lot of military stuff because you're right there next to the base, huh?
Yeah. You know, when I was there, I wasn't really catering to I just had got my CNC, so they didn't really get a taste of the actual CNC stuff. when I closed down the shop. They was getting most of all the laser, the decals, that sort of stuff. Um, they didn't really get a chance to actually see the CNC work. This here,
Can you tell us a little bit about your machine?
which the new one?
Yeah, the new one.
Oh, well, it is imported. It is a blue elephant. Let me see if I have some pictures of it. It has a 4th-axis rotary and with a 6 horsepower spindle, the vacuum table. It actually ran on Mark III when I got it because that's what I was comfortable with. And then once I received it and ran it for a few months, then I realized that I was having issues turning. It wasn't reading the G code properly. And I knew what it's supposed to do, but it wasn't doing it. And I kind of felt like I was like, is it me or is it the machine? Do I know what I'm doing? But I've been in this for a while, so so I figured instead of trying to research and find a compatible controller for Mark III without jumping through a lot of hoops, I decided to convert it to the DSP controller. And I just did that maybe a couple of weeks ago, and it was a success. And I had no issues whatsoever turning. Everything was reading properly, so I knew it had to be the controller. I just ended up getting a bad controller.
So you think the Mach 3 controller was a bad controller?
Yes.
So do you think that if you would have switched it out with a new Mach 3 controller, you'd have been good to go probably?
Yep, I probably would have. I just didn't want to go with the same controller that I had. It was the XHC Mark III controller, and it was the USB. And I wanted to really get away from the USB. But, with me getting my orders and things and trying to keep up with production, I didn't really want to try to find if I need to buy one board and then buy a breakout board to match it up. I needed something that was plug and play.
Okay. Why don't you see if you can keep scrolling and find your machine so the guys can see it?
Oh, yeah. Let me go to my homepage. Let's go. Give me a moment. And let's scroll down through some of. Excuse some of the goofy pictures. But
what pictures do you have on there?
Is it what? I'm trying to find.
I found it on your frosted images.
There it is.
Yeah, this is it right here. But I'm trying to see if I had any more pictures that I had posted with it. Which I don't.
Well, I found it on your frosted images. If you click on photos.
Oh, you did it?
Yeah, go click on your photos there. And then, keep going down.
Let's see.
Right there.
Okay. All right. Okay, so this is actually it. So it's the machine table is actually a 4-foot. It's a 4x7. But the whole work area is actually 7 feet across, including the rotary. So the rotary can go the full length of the table, also, and it's able to turn up to 8 inches diameter. I had the pneumatic pop-up pins added to the machine, so easy alignment for material. And I had the light that was added also. I made some custom modifications to it myself once the machine was delivered here. I actually ran a USB cable inside the gantry down into my control cabinet and a power wire, so I could hook up accessories to the machine, such as a webcam, while the machine is running, so I can do some webcasting. It has the lead shine hybrid servo motors to it, and it's a closed loop system. It has 5 controllers, lead shine, 5 drivers that run the machine. The Y axis has 2 motors. They actually run independent on independent drivers. And the X-axis, not the X-axis, I'm sorry. The rotary axis, the A-axis, actually has its own independent driver as well. So it's, some machines, you have to unplug it and then plug it into another driver. This you don't. You don't have to do that at all. As you can see, it has the 4-zone vacuum table.
4 or 5 zones?
Huh?
Is it 4 zone? Was one of them an on switch and then?
Yep.
4 different zones?
Yep. The valve switch is the on switch, and then it has the 4 valves for the zones. I was trying to see if I had the. Let me see. I want to show you my control cabinet. I don't know if I took a picture of the control cabinet. Let me see. Oh, I don't see. Give me a moment.
So while you're looking, let me ask you a couple of questions.
Go ahead.
You bought this directly from someone in China.
Mm-hmm.
So did you have a hard time making that purchase as far as trying to figure out who to deal with and talk with and logistics of getting it shipped here and the cost?
It was fairly easy. It was fairly easy. This wasn't my first purchase I've done for us as importing. I have done importing previously, but this right here was very easy. It wasn't, the biggest problem was actually trying to convince yourself, was it the right move? Because that's quite a bit of money to fork over and actually end up getting junk and you're not sure. But by me knowing CNC machines compared to laser machines, I knew that I would have less problems with a CNC machine or able to fix compared to importing a laser machine. Because the only thing that you're really concerned about is the gantry being true and being built right. As far as the electronics and things, they can be replaced if anything go wrong. Blue Elephant was the company that I purchased from, and they was phenomenal with me.
Were you dealing with a foreigner or someone that spoke English?
They both. They spoke English very well, but they were Chinese, and they spoke English very well. I've communicated with them day and night. I probably aggravated them a lot with questions and being very specific about what I wanted. But they answer what they can. If they don't, they'll ask their engineers and actually have an answer for you. Personally, I would say if you decide to import a machine, do your research extensively. know exactly what you want and how you want your machine built. That way you have a little bit more control over what you're able to receive. If you kind of leave the ball in their court and just accept what they built and pay for it, then you might not have the best quality of machine. It will work, but it may not be up to your expectation. If you don't have the insight or the skill level of the CNC, then I would not recommend importing a machine. I would buy a domestic machine. That way you would have the support. But with today's technology and online, I mean, you can reach out to anyone. When I need help, I have, people that I can just contact in the UK or anywhere, and I can actually receive an answer. So it's out there. You won't be alone. It's not like you say, I bought a machine and I'm stuck. I don't know what to do with it. You can always find the help. There's someone out there that's going to always be able to help you. And that's what I spend a lot of my time doing. Like, this is one of my pages here that I set up 4th axis rotary setup projects on CNC, because I knew turning on the 4th axis wasn't very popular. Everybody didn't know how to do it. Everyone didn't know how to set up. And software companies assume that you knew, and they don't really have very good tutorials on how to set up the file and set up the machine to actually turn. And it took me months to actually figure it out to be able to do it. But I actually set up this page so people can understand, regardless of what kind of machine they have, domestic or foreign, and doesn't matter what software, we're able to help each other out and get the turning to be more popular, because it's really not.
Okay, so can we switch? We switch topics here, and this week I saw you make a table leg that was just out of this world. And I know you had lots of complications getting there, but you finally finished it and figured out how to do it this week, and it turned out fabulous. You have a couple of pictures of it, and just show guys what you did.
Yes, actually, here's actually some of the videos that I actually did with.
Now, I'm not sure if you click on that video. I'm not sure how well it might, but I'm not sure how well it will.
Okay.
Try.
Let's see. This was one of the first legs that I turned. And then I did the second one that I posted also.
Why don't you show the finished product, the finished product that you had with leg that you just finished this week?
Okay, I sure will. Let me.
I was amazed at how nice it turned out.
Let me go back to.
And then I think one of the questions on the forum, somebody asked, how long did it take to turn? And I never did see the answer.
Oh, it took 5 hours to turn that piece. It took 5 hours to turn that piece. Here it is right here.
So beautiful. So now, is that one of 4 legs, or is that going to be a single pedestal?
It was just a test run. It was just a test run. It was a sample. This is what I did, and this is why I turned this. If anyone that's working out of Expire know that the Expire default would just run either on the X or the Y axis. So the problem that I was having with turning the leg, it would turn and then it would turn and then it kept going back and forth. It wasted a lot of time. So I figured, I was like, I wonder if I can do the same thing as these other expensive software, such as RhinoCam, what's the other ones?
C-Cam?
Power Mill, because what they do, they have different tool strategies. So they allow you to either do containment or segment engraving or carving. But Expire, you have to manually do that. It doesn't have like you can't tell it to section it off and it'll do it. So this is where this piece came in at. My first leg that I did took a long time, and I saw that it just kept going back and forth and back and forth. Well, what I did on this one, I broke it up in 4 sections, and I drew boxes around each section to contain the tool path just in those sections to work that along before it moves to the next section. So it cuts down a lot of time in the carving. Now, I'm still trying to perfect it because I wanted to be able to go back and do all the details and things like that, but it did save a lot of time. When I first started setting up files for turning, it was talking about 17 hours to do, and I was like, bleh. I was getting frustrated, and I just turned the machine off. But from there, here I am at 5 hours with this piece, and that's 28 inches tall. Another thing I've done was I stopped turning my square stock to round. Just got rid of that period. I just figured out what size I want my piece to be inside that square stock, and I designed my piece inside there. And that way I don't even have to worry about trying to turn the round piece, trying to turn a square piece to round, because that takes another 20 minutes or so to do, which you can be right into the carving. So this was practice, and I'm still learning to, perfect it, to get it down, because, you talking 5 hours for a table leg, there's no money in that. So,
well, but like if you were to use, I know a lot of guys here don't have rotary. Maybe 2 other guys might have rotary, but I know if I was to do this, I would use C-cam and turn that square block into round, and it would take me 3 minutes. Right. Because I would use a straight cutter, and I'd run it the whole length, and I'd let that thing spin, and I got a square block. I got a round block from a square in just a few minutes.
In just a few minutes. Well, that's what I wanted to try to do. But Expire is not good for that.
No, it's terrible for that.
I mean, it's really terrible for turning. I don't like it. But I try to make use of it because a lot of people have it. So I can give some type of support on it when people ask me. But it really sucks. I mean, because if you need to change that file, you have to reset up through that gadget. There's no resizing that file.
Okay, so
everything off.
So I'd like to move on a little bit, if we can, off of turning. What I would like to do is I'd like the guys that are in the meeting to open up your microphones, and if you've got a question for Talley, go ahead and ask them, and see if we can field a few questions if we've got any questions. I asked earlier, and everybody was kind of like quiet.
Yeah, feel free to ask.
Yep. So anytime you guys got a question, turn your mic on. So what's next? What are you interested in doing? What are your plans in the future? What would you like to do with your machine?
Well, you know what? Right now. I would like to be able to get into furniture. I would like to duplicate the old furniture. What I usually do, I try to go to the flea markets or whatever, and I buy old chairs, and I study them and try to redraw them to duplicate them. So it's a lost art when it comes to the carving.
I agree. Now, are you doing this just because it's something that you have a desire and a heart to do, or is it something that you think that possibly could be a niche that could produce an income for you?
it's both. I have a passion for architectural millwork. I love the old colonial, Tuscan, Corinthian type architects. You don't see it that much anymore. People are not doing it. Um, so what I would like to do, I would like to kind of bring it back. The I think a lot of people now, when they buy stuff, they just buy stuff because it's cheap, but they don't realize the craftsmanship that went into it. And I think they kind of get away from that. When they do see something that's very intricate or detailed, they automatically think to themselves, "Oh, I can't afford that. It's too pricey."
Well, I'll give you a classic example. And I was just telling Jim Cook, who's the other face in the webcam besides us two. And I've got my neighbors remodeling their house next door.
Oops, sorry.
And the builder found out that I had a CNC machine in my basement. So I invited him to come over and look at it. Well, this was 3 weeks ago. Well, he came knocking on my door today, and in his hand was a rosette. And he says, "I'm working on another project, not next door, but another project across town." And he says, "I can't find these rosettes anywhere." Here, I don't know. I hold it up. It's just a basic rosette. Let's see if I can.
Oh, yep, I can see it.
It's just a basic rosette. And he says, "Hey, I need 22 of these. Can you make them for me?" So, you're right. These people are out there doing a lot of restoration work on homes and moldings and furniture and things like that, and they can't seem to find anything.
Right.
I had another fella that has a fine upholstery place, and he had a broken leg, and he wanted to know if I could make a new leg. Well, my machine's capable, but I don't know that I am yet. But I'd like to aspire to get to that period where, I can take this leg and make another one like you're saying. I think there is a demand out there. I just don't know, if people to pay for it or not.
Right. And, I actually got into this. I got into it because of the passion of it. I wasn't, a lot of people get into buying equipment. They see it and they're like, I want to do that. I want to start a business with it. Most of the time when they get into it, they're not very artistic. So they have to learn right from the beginning how to run the machine, how to learn, the software, the wood. I was an artist as a kid, and what I just did was I just took my artistic ability and I started learning how to do it with the machines. And sometimes I be thinking, how can I get the idea in this machine to do that? Because I knew nothing when I first started. I knew nothing about a laser. I knew nothing about router bits, and I just studied. I just continued to study and learn everything I could as far as reading, watching videos, and it becomes addictive. I mean, once you have a passion for it, it can really overtake you as far as trying to learn and become better at it.
I'm really not making any money at it, although I did
spent a lot of time in my shop.
Yeah, I did get one job that I made quite a bit of money on, but just falling in the right place at the right time. There's a guy in the meeting. His name is John Bunker, and he asks, and I asked the same question before we got online: is what's a DSP controller? A lot of guys have not heard of DSP, so you want to explain what that is? Can you hear me? Talley? Did we lose you? Talley, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Everybody else, Jim, you can hear me, right?
I can. Tally's saying is the mic is breaking up.
Looks like he's moved. There we go. We got you back. Can you hear me now, Tally?
We can hear him, but I don't think he can hear us.
I can't hear him at all.
He's not talking right now.
Go ahead and talk.
Oh.
There, Tally, can you hear us? We can hear you. I'm going to type him a text.
Uh-oh.
There you go. Can you hear us?
Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes. Yep, we can hear you. He thinks we can't hear him.
Yeah.
Okay. No, it's too bad. Stupid computers.
Oh.
Okay, we can hear you, Tally.
All of a sudden.
There you go. Go ahead and talk. We'll wrap this up real close, but I'm trying to get this question answered. Tally's not talking, but I think if he does talk, we can hear him.
Yeah, if he would talk, we would hear him, but I don't know why he's not trying.
He's confused. Tally, let me try you on the computer mic, he said.
Okay, how about that?
Yes, we can hear you.
Great.
Yeah, we could hear you all along, but you weren't talking.
I was like, what the heck?
You didn't think we could hear you, but we could hear you. Okay, so the question is, some guys have not heard what a DSP controller is. What's a DSP?
Oh, okay. I just saw that. A DSP. It's a you know what? I don't know the technical name for it. I want to say it's I believe it's a direct signal processor. That's what I'm thinking. But what it is, it's an integrated control board with a handheld. So it doesn't need a computer to operate. There you go, a digital signal processor. It doesn't need a computer to operate. So the machine is independent from the computer entirely. What I like about the DSP compared to Mark III, when you put in your parameters on the DSP, those parameters for the machine, your table size, are your limit switches automatically. And the machine automatically will go to those areas once you boot up that DSP. So if you turn that switch on, the DSP asks you, do you want a home all access? And it automatically goes there and it'll home it.
Because you tell it the size of the table.
Because you tell it the size of the table. With Mark III, as you know, you tell it the limitations of your table, and then you could tell it to back off, so many inches or whatever off the limit switch. With the DSP, you don't do that. It's just the size of the table. That's it. Another excellent feature that I like about it is the tool sensor. There's no script to record or copy into the Visual Basic script in Mark III. You just tell it the thickness of your tool sensor. In my case, it's 40.5 millimeters. That's it. It remembers that. Once it touches it, that's it. It's set. And that's what kind of raised my awareness about my controller. When I was doing different two scripts, I realized that it wasn't being recorded. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. And it was hard to tell when it failed. Like it'll set it, or sometimes it just didn't set at all. And sometimes I got to the point that I was like, I use like a old measuring tape piece from a broken measuring tape to set my tool. It was like 4/10,000 of an inch, which was perfect. I mean, it worked perfect every time I touched it, slid it up under the bit. It worked perfect. It was like working a filler gauge. And then I was thinking, I was like, so it's not reading the scripts. So I started homing my machine, and sometime it'll home right, sometime it'll home and it'll come like it'll back off like 8 inches from the limit switch, and I'm thinking, okay, something not right. But it ran flat. It ran flat stuff on the table, perfect, no problem. But I could not turn. But when I got my DSP and installed it, it eliminated all those problems. I mean, right off, it's so simplistic to use, and I love it. I mean, it's easy to set up. If you stop the machine, you can actually go back. It has the same features as Mark III. That's what really impressed me. It has the same features as Mark III, but it's independent from the computer.
Okay, great. Well, we're pushing an hour here now. I think we're gonna wrap it up. If anybody's got any last-minute questions, Jim, you got any questions?
I don't have any questions, but I have another computer on the side that I've been doing a lot of Facebook stuff while Talley was talking, and I came across a picture with a crane lifting your machine off of a flat.
Cool. Yeah.
But Talley's a crane operator, so go ahead and tell about that.
Yep, that is actually my crane.
Why don't you put it up on the screen?
Huh?
Put it up on the screen.
Oh, let's see. Where is? I don't even know where that is.
It's on your website, Facebook of the Talley Boatwright.
Okay, Talley. All right. Let's see.
And I just started scrolling down. You posted it on January 12th.
January 12th. Let me go back.
There it is, and I saw it on your screen there on the left.
Oh, you did?
Oh, right.
Oh, right there, right there.
Right there.
Okay, let me see. Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's a different one than I was looking at, but yeah. Okay.
Yep. That is, that's
Tell them what kind of crane operator you are.
Oh.
Tell them what kind of crane operator. You lift trusses, right, for houses?
Right. That's right. I set trusses for houses. Let's see. I probably got some pictures on here of me doing some crazy stuff. But yeah, I do a lot of trusses. I'm everywhere. In Jacksonville. I'm like Palm Coast and Callahan. I spend a lot of hours in the crane, sometimes 12 hours in the crane. I actually drive a 40-ton swing cab. And, we do some huge houses, too. One house, oh, my goodness. One house I did was 28,000 square feet. I couldn't believe it. I should have called in sick that day. That was it was so many trusses. I mean, just oh my goodness, it was trusses everywhere, and it took me actually 8 hours to set all those trusses. I was pretty wild after that. So was the crew. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's my DSP controller there. So, and actually, I would probably post some videos on it of showing, because this controller is really new. This is the B series. It's really new, and it's not much information out there about it. But I want to show some of the, some of the features and things that they have on it. So I actually post some videos on there. Yeah. So thank you, John. So John, what do you do yourself?
Jim Cook.
Okay.
Jim Cook.
Yeah, Jim Cook.
I'm Jim Cook. So
okay.
I actually work for Ferris State University during the daytime. I'm in the IT. I've been working on computers since the late 80s. And so I've just been in the computers for a long, long time. So the design stuff came really easy. I had to figure out how to use a CNC machine, but I bought a Stinger 2 5.5 years ago, almost 6 years ago now, and done quite a bit of stuff. So computers, being in my second nature, and being a Photoshop person, I was takes pretty quick to do designing. I just had to figure out how to use wood.
And then John Bunker is a machinist. And Dave Dietrich is in the room. He owns a Legacy Explorer. And then Vince Hellman is what's that? Say again?
I guess I'm breaking up again. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah.
I was saying Vince Hellman is got a buddy that's got a Gatton CNC machine, and he built a small one a while ago. And I think is interested in just learning.
Do you do a lot of turning on it?
Pardon me? What's your question? Tally?
I think he can't hear us again.
Okay. Well, I think we've...
Speak, Tally, speak.
Speak. Yes. We can hear you.
I don't know what. I don't know why my mic is going out.
Oh, Dave Dietrich has a Maverick 3x5. Is what Dave Dietrich has.
Yeah, that's a very nice machine.
Yeah. Matter of fact, you came close to buying a Legacy before you bought this one. It was just logistics of trying to get it in time. Okay.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Why don't we wrap it up? We'll wrap it up, and I'll stop the recording, and then the guys that want to stay on, we'll keep talking amongst ourselves, but we'll close out the recording for tonight, and we appreciate you sharing some information about yourself. We'll have you back on again maybe, and you can teach us a technique on a specific item if you'd like. So
sure.
Those guys that want to hang on, we're gonna stay back and talk a little bit, but I'm gonna go ahead and stop the recording. And thanks a lot for joining us tonight.
Oh, you're welcome. I appreciate you having me on.
Okay.